Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show, the place to be to stay on the cutting edge of what it takes to sell more homes in less time. Each week, your host, Shadi Bazzi, will share with you the best skill sets, systems, and strategies so you can become a top listing agent. And now, let the show begin.
Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show today. This is going to be episode, I think, number 29 out of my memory. And we have a very special guest who I've recently met and only spoken to for just a couple of minutes in person via, the net, but someone that I've actually gotten to know the way that a lot of us get to know each other nowadays, through social media and their online presence, etc. His name is Ricky. And Ricky, I am not going to attempt to say your last name. So, who are you, man? Tell us, your name. Who are you? Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, I'm the same way with your name, man. I'm Ricky Carruth, actually, Carruth. I'm from down here in Orange Beach, Alabama. Actually, a lot of people don't realize we have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Have you ever heard of it?
I heard of Alabama. That's about it.
We're right on the Alabama-Florida state line. And the beautiful beaches you hear about in Florida just continue right into Alabama.
I see. Okay, so we got to pay you a visit then, right?
It's amazing, and it's one of the country's best kept secrets. It's white powder sand. It's like going to an island, and we actually do live on an island. It's called Pleasure Island.
Oh, I like the name of that. Yeah.
So Mobile Bay, Mobile, Alabama has a huge bay, and maybe 100 or more years ago, they did a man-made canal from Mobile Bay to Pensacola Bay, and that created Pleasure Island. But anyway, born and raised down here on the coast. My dad was a roofer. I started out, roofing houses with my father. I kind of had the best of both worlds because Dad was a roofer, but he owned his own business. Mom cut hair, but she owned her own business. So I kind of got the blue collar and entrepreneurial, all mixed up into one. But started out roofing, knew I was always going to do something big, just because something inside of me, I just knew I was going to do something really big and help a lot of people. So I got into real estate in 2002. I was 20 years old.
Okay.
By the time I was 23, I was a millionaire.
Wow.
By the time I was 25, I was broke, sleeping on friends' couches through the crash, and had to go back into roofing houses and even worked on an oil rig for a year.
Wow. So you started selling real estate again at 20, right?
Right.
Okay. By the time you were 23, already a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, you lose it all.
Mm-hmm.
And you then get out of the business and go back to roofing?
Yeah, I got out of the business. I had to. Okay. I didn't understand how real estate worked. I thought I knew because I was a millionaire.
Yeah.
I thought I knew, but what I realized was that in the boom market, I could call 10 condo owners, find somebody to sell for it to make $100,000. Out of 10 people, somebody would do it. I list it, sell it in a day, close on it in 30 days, and then we would go our separate ways. I wouldn't have any client retention or past clients or relationships. That's the way the market was at that time. So when the market crashed, I had nothing really to hang on to, and I didn't understand what was going on. I was too transaction oriented. I was just there for the deals, and through the crash, I read like 100 books. I studied the market. I watched the agents that continued to make it through the crash. I watched the agents that got out, like me. And I just really put it all together and realized it's all about relationships.
Yep.
And you've been around the block. You've heard this a million times. It's the thing. Whenever you go from being transaction oriented to relationship oriented, your whole life changes.
Yep. No, I agree with you, and that's why one of the things that I always say to my clients and everyone out there is we don't close a transaction, we open a relationship. That's what we do. All right, so you get out of the business, you go back to roofing, you read a bunch of books, you study the market, you study real estate, you study a bunch of stuff. How long before you get back into real estate?
I sold my last condo in 2005, and then I sold my next property in 2008.
Okay, so a good 3 years.
My last property was like February 2005, and then May of 2008, I sell my next property. So it's about 3 years there.
Okay.
Where I roofed houses for a couple years. I actually roofed houses and served tables at night. I was working 2 jobs. I don't know why, because I had 0 bills. I was bankrupt. The only bill I had was my cell phone. One of my ex-girlfriends gave me like one of these junker cars. I didn't even have insurance. So anyway, I went through all that, and then I had this opportunity to work on an oil rig, where in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where I could make $5,000 a month working every other week. And I said, this is a jackpot situation for me, because I can do real estate on my weeks off and make $5,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped all over that. And, it didn't work out quite like that, because you work so hard on your week on, your week off it's tough to do anything, because it's serious labor.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't go quite like I had planned, but I worked around it. I mean, any successful person is going to work around whatever situation, and they're just going to make it happen. I mean, There's really nothing else to explain other than I just made it happen. And so what happened is I noticed an agent in my area that had continued selling a lot of properties, and he was a good friend of mine. And I called him up and I said, how in the world are you doing this? What's going on? He said, come over to the house and we'll talk. So I go over to the house, and basically it was crazy, because when I first started in real estate, this same guy kind of helped me get in, helped me figure out what to do and how to do it. And at that time, it was phone calls, postcards, letters, and emails.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, fast forwarding into it was 2007. The market's down. I lost everything. I was at a real down point. Not really mentally. Even through the down, I haven't changed at all. I'm just as happy now as I was then. Like I knew that was just a phase. I didn't know where I'd end up, but I wasn't too. I've always worked hard, so I wasn't. I work just as hard now as I worked when I was on the oil rig. So I sat down with them, and it was crazy, because the new tactics were to do postcards, letters, phone calls, and emails. It was the same stuff, So what I realized in that meeting was that it wasn't what I was doing or what anybody was really doing. It's the mindset of why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
When I call someone, I'm not trying to use objection handlers to combat what they want, or try to force them into something, or try to sway them to do something. It's just like, what can I do to help you? And if there's nothing you need right now, if you don't have another agent in mind for the future, let's stay in touch. And so that works for me.
Very good. All right. So Ricky, if we fast forward to today, okay, what are you on track? You're still selling real estate, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what is your, what are you on track for this year in 2017? How many transactions will you close this year?
Last year I did 105, and I'm a single agent.
Okay.
I have one assistant. I did 105. My commission was about 750, 760. Mm-hmm. This year, I think I'm like at 115 transactions so far. I just crossed 900. I've got about 5 million under contract, about 10 deals, and
mm-hmm.
I'm still putting deals together like all the time. So I really don't know where I'll end up, man. I'll tell you the truth.
Well, we know you're going to end up north of 100, and a lot more than what you did last year. So we see the growth, which is
I feel like I'll do like 1.2 in commissions, and maybe 130, 140 transactions.
Awesome. Okay, so 130, 140 transactions, about $1.2 million in commissions. Okay.
Right.
And with one assistant, did I hear you correctly say you do all of that? You're a single agent and you do that with one
Right.
assistant?
Right.
How the heck do you do that? I know everybody's like, how does he do that?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the easiest, quickest answer is DNA.
DNA.
Like DNA. I'm wired to handle a lot at one time. And not everybody is wired to handle as much as me. So the analogy I use, I don't know if you've heard it, but the cup. Like everybody has a different size cup. Your cup represents how much business you can handle at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everyone should know where their limit is and what they can handle. Therefore, I think everybody should overwhelm themselves with business. Go make 1,000 calls real fast and overwhelm yourself with things to do in terms of growing your real estate business, and see where you fit on the scale of how much you can handle, and then scale back to exactly as much as you can handle at any given time. That's where you hit your maximum potential.
Mm-hmm.
And so my cup is always overflowing. I always have, more than I can handle in some ways, but in other ways I can handle a lot more. The other side of it is I don't worry about anything. A lot of people, they worry about every little thing. They want everything to be perfect. They try to go over the moon for their client on every situation, whereas you can go over the moon for them on 3 out of 5 times and still get the same result, that they know that you care for them. There's just certain things that I naturally am good at in terms of time management, knowing what's important, and doing the things that really matter.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't worry. I don't worry about if inspections are going to work out and if the mortgage is going to work out and if there's something I'm missing on a deal. I don't worry about that stuff because
So you're just an action taker and you'll figure out what you need to figure out along the way.
yeah.
And,
Basically my business is somewhat of a mess. Like I'm not a very organized person, but I take so much action and then I just let the dust settle and then I take care of business, So I would rather when I think about it, I would much rather be unorganized, have too much to do, and not really have everything perfect or 100%, than to have half of what I have going on and have everything perfect, So it's a trade-off.
Well, it's a big trade-off because a lot of people, what we find, like, a lot of people email me, message me, and I'm sure they do the same exact thing with you. And they're like, how do you put the system together? And I'm like, well, why don't you just freaking damn take action to get something that we will have to develop a system for?
Right.
They're trying to develop the system to take their first action. And then once they have the steps for the system, then they discover, sellers and buyers are going to give me objections. And if I don't know how to handle those objections, I can't make the calls. And then you see how that cycle never ends?
Oh, absolutely, man. There's agents that just train forever and they go to all this training and they never take the action.
Yeah.
My goal is for people to listen to what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing, and then my hopes is I have no followers in 10 years because everybody's doing.
Yeah. Everybody's busy doing. Yeah. So 100+ transactions this year. And I'm just trying to get an idea of what percentage of that is more on the listing side than the buyer side? So are you more of a listing agent? Are you more of a buyer's agent? I mean, what's that split look like? Because, you don't got a buyer's agent. It's just you and your assistant.
The bottom line is that I can break it down to 70-30 if that's what you want, because that's what it is. But I don't care. If a client comes to me, I don't care if they want to buy or sell.
They need help. You're just going to help them.
I go after property owners, right? Because they're the highest quality prospect, period. They buy and they sell. They're easy to deal with. They already know all the ropes of the game. They're experienced. They're educated. You don't have to spend a lot of time. They know what they want. They just need an agent to help them do what they need. So I spend all my time on property owners because that's the most efficient, right? But I'm not doing it for listings. I'm doing it for clients that might want to buy or sell. And the fact that they're property owners just makes it to where I get a little bit more listings than I do buyers, But I don't classify myself as a listing agent, just because, I love buyers. I don't work buyers. I don't get internet leads. I don't do anything for buyers to try to advertise or get buyer leads. So all my buyers come from past clients referrals, sellers that want to buy, people that want to buy my listings. So I don't get as many buyers. See, these people that get a lot of buyer leads, they're getting leads all day long every day, and it drives them crazy because they're chasing their tail around and they can't seem to put it all together. But on the flip side, if you work the system like me and you get a buyer, you're excited as hell because you don't get very many buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a whole lot of buyers, and when I do, they're pretty serious. And so I get excited when I get a buyer, as opposed to most buyers agents who hate buyers because they run them around.
Got it. All right. So look, a couple of things I want to talk about. We're going to come back to the production thing, but I'm loving your mindset. I love that you have a lot of energy. It sounds to me like you have a very strong, disciplined work ethic. Mm-hmm. So, earlier you mentioned the words, the why. Okay. Like, what's your why? Like, I get that, when you have a strong purpose, you have a strong why, you're more
mm-hmm.
likely to go out there and work every single day. That's mm-hmm. like part of your DNA, et cetera. Mm-hmm. What's your why? What makes you get out of bed every single morning and go out there and work when most people can't get themselves out of bed to go out there and work?
I'm addicted to helping people. Okay. It's a drug I get high off of when somebody...
Got some for sale?
What's that?
Got some for sale?
When somebody approaches me and says, Ricky, I want to sell this condo because I need to buy this house over here. I want to change from condo to house. In my mind, it's not, oh, here's a deal on a condo. It's, I need to help these people. I just get so excited about the opportunity to help people, because whenever somebody decides to buy or sell a property, it's not because they just want to do it for the hell of it. They're doing it because of some kind of life experience, life change. Something's going on in their life mm-hmm. that's caused them to make this decision. Whether it be they just need to upgrade, or they just are tired of this and want to do that, or somebody died, or somebody was born, or kids went to college, or they lost their job. There's a reason. And so I look deeper than just, we're going to help them sell this property. I look at it as though I'm helping them get where they want to be. And I just really, I'm addicted to the feeling that I get when people tell me thank you for helping them. On top of the fact that, on the flip side, I've started helping agents, and my big why there is legacy. I want to leave my mark on the industry, and I really want to be. My big why is to reduce the failure rate in the industry, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of, I think there's just, nobody has direction. And I feel like I provide that.
Perfect. Okay. So there's your why. Where do you get your energy from? Does your energy come from your reason why? Like, what do you do to have so much energy? Because every time I watch one of your videos or see you online, you always got a very high level of energy. Like, is that another drug?
I actually don't drink or smoke or do anything. I'm absolutely, completely 100% sober. And I think actually that gives me a lot of energy. I work out every day at 7 o'clock, every single day.
In the evening or in the morning?
In the morning.
Okay.
I work out with a personal trainer Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends I jog. So I work out every day at 7 o'clock. And that gives you a lot of energy. People don't realize that. They think that, working out is whatever, and they don't give it enough credit for how much energy it actually gives you throughout the whole day. Mm-hmm. That's part of it. And also hydration. People don't drink enough water, and they don't realize that being dehydrated is one of the most, it's the reason why most every bad decision is made. From dehydration. You're 75% water. So I try to drink a gallon a day,
mm-hmm.
whatever it is. But seriously, habits like that giving me a lot of energy. You know, if I go a day without eating my multivitamins, not a day, more like 3 or 4 days or a week, I get very down. My energy goes down.
Yeah.
If I don't drink a lot of water, you know, if I miss a couple days, my energy goes down. So the habits and the diet is one thing, but on the flip side, I'm very passionate about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've just found my passion for real estate, helping people. You know, it's just it's in my blood, if you will.
Got it. Okay, so look, Ricky, here's the thing. I'm going to move segments real quickly. Obviously,
Okay.
our audience are, you know, the real estate industry, and you know, you have, you know, obviously you're a top producer in your marketplace, and you are now also providing coaching and training to real estate agents from all over the country, et cetera. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, at the end of, you know, this show, we're going to, you know, let people figure out, like, you will tell people how to find, you know, whether it's your website, your Facebook presence, contact you, et cetera, if they're interested in your training, et cetera. But, you know, let's make the rest of the show about giving maybe some strategies,
Okay.
some tactics,
Okay.
et cetera, because, you know, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And that's what you and I are committed to doing, is giving it to them so they can go out there and play a bigger game, like you said earlier. So one day they won't watch our videos because they're too busy, you know, working. So
Yeah.
let's first talk to the newer agent. Okay.
Okay.
You know, someone who's, you know, let's say, you know, 1, 2, 3 years or less in the business, probably doing about 1 or 2 transactions a month right now.
Okay.
And they just want to increase their production by, let's say, you know, 1 deal every single month. What are like the 1, 2, or 3 things you tell that person? Here's what I need you to do to increase your production by at least 1 transaction every single month.
Okay. Well, it's a case-by-case basis for sure. You know, I mean, I would have to dissect exactly what they're doing now, how they're getting there, where they're getting their leads from, where they're spending their time, and et cetera. But I mean, the bottom line is this, Jaddy. The common denominator between every single closing is a conversation. I don't care if it's internet lead, email, postcard, you know, I don't care where it comes from.
Yeah.
If you don't have a conversation, then there's not going to be a closing. And so this is what I can't wrap my head around. I can't wrap my head around agents who don't understand this and don't put the math together in terms of, okay, if a conversation is the common denominator between all closings, there has to be one to have a closing, period. And we want to have as many closings as we can, then don't we have to have as many conversations as we can in order to have as many closings as we can, right? So I think people are spending way too much time on things other than having conversations. You know, and I think the other things that they're spending their time on are probably very important. But the problem is that they are using the other things to make excuses not to have conversations, because they're scared of the conversations. They're scared to talk to new people. They're scared to, you know, engage with strangers. They're worried about what they might say. I think the biggest thing is fear. And I think the second thing is getting out of your comfort zone. I think there's different phases in real estate. People get stuck in that $100,000 a year phase, like you're saying, 1 deal a month. You know, you get stuck in that $100,000 a year phase, and people just stay there because they're comfortable. And they want to grow, but they don't want to get out of their comfort zone, right? And so in order to get out of the comfort zone, they're going to have to talk to people they don't necessarily want to talk to. And they're going to have to do it on a huge scale and get out of that comfort box to grow. So the first thing I would ask them is how many people they're actually calling that are prospects. Who are the prospects? How many are they calling? And then I would explain to them how night and day now that property owners are 1,000 more times efficient as a prospect than any other prospect there is known to mankind. Why would you spend your time on any other prospect other than a property owner? Now that you know that, Mr. $100,000 agent, now we know who to talk to. Now it's time to talk to as many of them as we can possibly talk to. How many is that? I don't know, because I don't know how big your cup is. You know, you got to figure that out. You need to make 1,000 calls this week, overwhelm yourself with business, and then scale back to where you know exactly how much you can handle at all times. Fill your cup up with property owners, and have a system in place to stay in touch with them forever, which I do through email, a weekly email. So if a property owner, if I can help them today, awesome. If not, do they have an agent in mind if they were to do something? If not, is it okay if I stay in touch with you? So you need to, if you're not selling as much as you would like to, it's nobody's fault but yours, because closings happen every day.
Yep.
Even in the worst of markets, closings happen every single day. That's why I don't care if a crash happens. I learned so much through the last crash that you know, the game doesn't change, because the crash actually induces people to take action. Buyers want to buy because it's cheap. Sellers have to sell because they're in trouble. So if all the other agents get out of the business because the market crashed, then it leaves more for you. So I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but
no, well said, though. But I want to go back to one of the things that you said. You said, you know what, that's also another thing that you and I share in common is, you know, I always tell my clients, you know, this whole entire real estate transaction is nothing more than a conversation, because, you know, first of all, you're having a conversation in your head, that you need to have that conversation with a buyer, or there's a conversation taking place between you and a seller, or you and a lender, or you and a you know, title rep, a real estate attorney. It's all a conversation. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
until you get comfortable having those conversations, until you work on your strength to have better conversations, you're flat out not gonna even have those conversations.
Right.
And so let's talk to that agent that says, okay, I get that I need to speak to more people. I get that. I just can't get myself to do it every single day. How do we gonna get that person to do it?
Well, there's many things, right? I mean, the first thing is why not? You know, like what's holding you back?
They have a fear. They have a fear of rejection. I mean,
the fear thing. Okay. If it's the fear thing, then it's a chicken and egg thing, meaning that you can't have the confidence that you need until you've made a lot of calls, but you need the confidence to make the calls, right? So that's where top producers break through. There's that wall of fear of that first 100 or 200 or 300 or 1,000 calls, right? That the top producers, they understand what's at the end of that 1,000 calls is experience and knowledge and confidence for making calls from there on out. And they know that it's going to be super uncomfortable, but they're willing to go through that uncomfortableness, right? They're willing to sacrifice that uncomfortableness so that they can get to where they know they want to be. I call it selfishness, Chatty, because if people that are making $1 million a year tell you that this is what you got to do, and you hear it over and over and over again by many, many top producers, and then at that point in your mind, you know that that's what is going to get you where you want to be, and you still don't do it, that's because you don't care about anyone around you. You don't care about your family, you don't care about your friends, you don't care about your coworkers, because you're not willing to sacrifice a little bit of uncomfortableness to succeed. And when you succeed, everyone around you succeeds, and you can help other people. Your family succeeds, your coworkers succeed, everybody succeeds. Everybody wants you to succeed. Everybody's rooting for you to succeed, but you're too selfish because you want to be comfortable and you don't want to feel that you don't want that fear to set in. And really, to be honest with you, it's BS, because what you're fearing is not even true. You're assuming how this call is going to end up or how this conversation is going to go. And the people that actually step up to the plate and actually make the calls actually find out that it's not near as bad as they were thinking.
You know, and the word assuming, I mean, that's like, you know, for me, what I teach in my listings on demand training is step number 1 in the sales process is to assume the sale. You know, is to, you know, assume, the sales got to take, the experience has to take place in your mind before it could ever take place in the physical universe. And the experience, what they don't get is already taking place in their mind anyway, but they're repeating the wrong experience in their mind. Like the experience of, what if I get hung up on? You know, what if I get rejected? What if I get an objection I can't handle? So
That's a good thing.
They need to, well, it is a good thing because it's going to get you closer to the yes. We get that. It's just we reframe that.
Not only that, man, not only closer to a yes, you gained experience and knowledge and confidence. When you have a call that someone hangs up on you and then you just continue making calls, it makes you feel good because you know that that's nothing.
Yeah.
Like getting hung up on is nothing. I mean, there's videos that I have for my members where I'm making cold calls. There's 3 different sessions that I videoed, and every session there are people that are rude to me, that hang up on me, and so on and so forth. But I still got deals. I just kept going. I want to make something else clear because I get this question a lot about, Ricky, how do you overcome your fear, or when does the nervous, how far into the process, how many calls do you have to make, over how long of a period of time does it have to be before the nervousness goes away?
Good question.
I tell them straight up that it doesn't ever completely go away. It lowers a little bit, but I still get a little bit, not as bad as I used to, but, and the only reason I don't get as nervous anymore, because I've refined my skills. I know what my objection is, and it's not to sell them anything. See, I used to make calls around, are you interested in selling? And okay, you're not. Well, who do you know that might be interested in selling? That is absolutely the wrong way to go. And I don't know if you teach this, but my thoughts on it are that when I don't want to ask them if they want to sell, I just want to know what I can do to help them. You know, they might want to sell or buy. If I ask them to sell, they wanted to buy. If they want to buy, they wanted to sell. And on the flip side, if I ask them, who do they know? Yeah, I just met this person. Now I'm asking them to help me find somebody to benefit me. I'm not in it for them anymore. I'm in it for me. And so now I'm showing them that it's not about them, it's about me, and that's a turnoff. And there's going to be 0 chance of a relationship in the future with that person. And that is a little thing that people don't really think about, but it's the little things, man, that subconsciously help your prospects understand how much you care about them. And it's the little things that your prospects don't even see it, but you're subconsciously training them to know how much you care about them by the little things you do and don't do. And that's one of them, I just don't go down that road anymore, because that makes you nervous too, because it's like you're always asking them for something. If when you get to the point where you're not asking them for anything, but you're giving help, it changes your entire outlook on the phone call, and you have confidence.
That right there is such a huge point. And yeah, that's another thing that, me and you are agreeing on a lot of things, man. We need to hang out more often, huh? Seriously, you bring up this point right here, and I'm thinking, you have a Facebook group for agents. We're going to tell everybody how to get their stuff like that, but I also have a group too, top listing agent group. And somebody posted something in there today. It's a woman by the name of Kathleen, and Kathleen posted about how she just got a referral. Like somebody called her up and said, "Hey, I've been referred to you." Okay. And they mentioned the name of the person who referred her to them. And for the life of whatever, she couldn't remember, who the heck is this person? Why would this person send me a referral?
Yeah.
She couldn't, she doesn't know who sent it. She knows the name, but doesn't know who that person is. So she wanted to know who it is, because she wanted to thank that person for sending her the referral.
Right.
And sure enough, she looks through her lead sheet and stuff like that, and it's a for sale by owner that she connected with that never listed with her.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm going? Like, her focus was on how can I help you, and created such a connection with that person to the point that person didn't need her services in that moment, but ended up sending her a freaking damn referral. And the reason is exactly what you just said.
Yeah. You want me to take it a little step further?
Let's do it.
I don't ever get a buyer pre-qualified. If a buyer comes to me and they say, we're looking for this. I'm going to ask them some questions. I'm pre-qualifying them in my mind, not to see if I think they can necessarily afford it, but to see if I think they're worth my time and efforts. So I evaluate every situation based on if I feel like that this situation is worth my time, because time is your most valuable asset. People throw it away like it's nothing. They spend so much time on stuff that doesn't even matter. It's ridiculous. And that's where a lot of people lose. But back to what I was saying, I don't pre-qualify buyers because of this. Once I decide to take a buyer on, now nothing matters except for that buyer. I'm going to fully serve them in every single way. Lunches, dinners, driving them around, giving them rides from the airport, taking them to the hospital, whatever they need, I got them. And I don't care if they buy from me or not. Because if I decided to take them on, it's not about the deal. It's about the relationship forever at that point. And what happens is this. They don't buy anything from you. You spent 3 days with them. I do this all the time. I show buyers that never buy, but then they'll come back to me 5 years later, or they'll send me several referrals over the course of 5 years, right? I think too many agents are so transaction oriented. They want to get everybody pre-qualified. Right? They want to make sure that they're going to make money when it's not about them. It's about the client. And, I'm not about getting people pre-qualified. I don't care if you can afford it or not. If I feel like, if I just feel like that, it's not worth my time, I'm going to refer it out, I refer some stuff out, not very much because I don't get very many buyers, but if I do, then I refer it out. But if I don't refer it out, I don't care if they buy or not.
Got it. Okay. So that's your strategy, and that's what works for you. And the mindset behind that is, lifetime value is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
The lifetime value of the relationship, not so much just like a, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I just made my commission check, I'm off to the next deal. Or I don't see a commission check from you, therefore I'm not going to work with you kind of thing,
Too many agents are like that, man.
Yeah, I know. I get that. All right. And then, why do you, by any chance, I know you said you call like homeowners, okay, property owners, you call them. Is that a for sale by owner? Is that an expired? Do you just flat out cold call your whole entire community? Like, what's your strategy around that? Because I know somebody's going to be asking that question.
Well, here's the thing, man. And like I said, we don't know each other, and I don't want to go against stuff you say, so I'm just going to give you
No, it's all good. Everybody's got their opinion, and here's the thing, at the end of the day, here's another thing I know. Let me just get that out there. I think pretty much just about every single system works out there as long as the individual follows the system. So whether it is, this guru or that guru, all systems work. You just got to connect with the right system that's going to work for you, that you're comfortable putting in place. It's all going to work.
Right. Well,
but you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want. It's about the client. It's not about you. It's about the listener.
There's only one reason why I would tell anyone to talk to a for sale by owner or expired. That's if they are brand new first day agent, because you're going to get so much experience in such a little amount of time by doing that, right? But I think you should only do it for 30 or 60 days and then never do it again. Okay. And here's the reason, because so many programs are focused around for sale by owners and expireds that every agent and their mom are calling all for sale by owners and expireds. So that for sale by owner and expired owners have a block up. They have their guard up against agents. Now you can squeeze in there every once in a while. I've gotten for sale by owner and expired listings. Trust me, I've tried everything there is to try in real estate. But here's the thing. I'm up against 2 or 3 agents. Even if you're the first one to call, there's still going to be 2 or 3 call right after you. They're going to interview everybody. Even if you're the best agent, you sell the most in the area, you still have a 50-50 shot with whoever they think the best 2 is. I don't want a 50-50 shot. I want a business created around 100% that I'm their guy when they get ready to do something. So I think for sale by owners and expireds are awesome for new agents to get that experience. They talk to a seller. They talk to a live lead. They see a property. Maybe they list it. Maybe they want it. Maybe that person wants to see some property. They need to show some property. There's so much good stuff that happens with a for sale by owner expired for new agents. But at the end of the day, they have their guard up. Even if you list a for sale by owner, they're a pain in the ass because they think they know everything. They think that you're overpaid. They felt like they could have sold it in the first place. They're going to be so involved in the deal. My experience anyway. Expireds are not that bad, you know, because they were listed with another agent before and they kind of know the process. And, you know, expireds, if I had to pick one, expireds would definitely be better than for sale by owners. But I'm not a big fan of either. Another reason about expireds is because there's only so many per day. You know, and if you get into that habit where you're doing expireds every day, I mean, big cities I'm sure have a lot, but not everybody's in a big city. So, you know, and maybe at the first of every month, there's a lot more, and at the end of the year, there's a lot more and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, there's just too much going on there. I like to go backdoor on them and go straight to circle prospecting, where I'm calling around market information, I target a subdivision, and, you know, I'll call them up and just let them know about the market information to see if there's something I could do for them. So that's kind of my strategy.
All right, very good. I mean, you know, that's, you know, your strat. I mean, obviously, it's bringing you over 100 transactions a year. So no one can definitely argue that at all. All right, so
let me add, Chatty.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that I'm some phone guru and that I magically make deals happen the first time I talk to people. Most of my deals are from people I cold called 7 years ago and maintain a relationship with them long term, and will continue to till I die. It's people think that, oh, he's selling 100 properties, he's really got this phone thing down. No, I'm saying the same thing I said 10 years ago, right? And most of my deals come from people I talked to 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago that I've built into a database, I provided value to over time, and now that they are ready to do something, not when I'm ready for them to do something, but now that they are ready to do something, I've given them so much value that I'm their guy.
Yep. I love that strategy. And you know, that's what it's all about. You know, it's not just about having that one conversation. Obviously, you know, you're building it in a way to where, like, you're treating everybody as a human, you're giving the value, and then, you know, people connect with your value. And then when they have a need or know of someone that has a need, then you are the guy. So, you know, you send out weekly emails, you said, right?
Yeah.
So basically you're reminding them every single week of who you are, you know, out of sight, out of mind, insight in mind.
Right. Okay. They can open up the email, they can delete it, they can not look at it for 2 years, and then they all of a sudden get interested and start looking at it again.
Yep.
You know, there's 13,000 people in my database.
Wow.
2,500 of them open it up every week.
Beautiful.
And then, you know, I'm sure that there's a flow of people that won't look at it for a year or two, and then they start looking because they're ready to do something. Yep. So it's that's really been the foundation, you know, long-term relationships, weekly emails. That's the bottom line of how I've built my business.
Got it. Okay. And, you know, since you mentioned the database, I'm going to ask you, because I get this question all the time. People are like, you know, what database should I use? You know, my response has always been, you know, it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you use the one that you're going to get.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to find out what you use.
Like I said from the beginning, I'm pretty unorganized. Everything's kind of a mess. I don't really have everybody in one central location. My assistant has a big spreadsheet of all of my postcard database and mail out database. And then I have everybody in my email database that gets the emails. And in that database, it's just email addresses. There's no name, number. I don't know. People call me up and say, I've been getting your email for 7 years. I'm ready to do something. And my response is, great, what's your name? You know, because I don't remember, I don't know who you were. I talked to you 10 years ago. So I'm a little unorganized, but I'm so good at smoothing things over, winging it, making it happen. And a key thing for me is that I'm so comfortable that people feel comfortable back with me. you know, when you feel comfortable and you're not nervous and all this, then they feel that, and they in turn feel very comfortable with you. And so I'm very comfortable natured. And so a lot of people feel comfortable with me. So even though I'm a little bit of a mess and I don't have all my database all tidied up just right, I still make it happen because everybody gets the postcards, everybody gets the emails, and then I have a huge list of people in my phone. You know, I have a lot of people, whoever, if I talk to you, I'm putting you in my phone and I'm making a note of what property you own, who you are, what agent you are, what you got going on. And that way, when you call me or I call you, I can look you up in my phone and I have you know, have the information there.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Ricky, bottom line is, you know, you live a life of no excuses. You take action every single day. You get that you're a little bit disorganized, and you're not going to use that as an excuse to not take the action every single day. When in essence, that's what everybody else will do, is they'll use that as an excuse. Well, I need a database, and that's exactly what's happening. Like, what do you need? How many people, you know, can you put in? Well, I got 5 people. I need to put them in a database. No, 5 people. You just need an index card, buddy. That's all you need. You know what I mean? So,
exactly,
awesome.
man.
So look, let's tell, let's share with people, like, how can people, this has been great. Obviously, you know, we don't have a format for doing this. You know, we're just having a conversation, and, you know, the value comes out of having a real, raw, relevant conversation. I think a lot of people are going to, you know, gain, you know, value from, you know, your insights and, you know, all the things that you shared today. So I want to thank you for that. I appreciate you making the time to, you know, share with our audience. And,
yes, sir.
And, you know, because we're getting about 25,000 downloads every single month for the Top Listing Agent Show. So thank you to everyone that watches the show and listens to the show and downloads the show. I'm sure there's going to be at least a handful of people that, like, I like this guy, you know, Ricky, who is he? How can I learn a little bit more about him, you know, et cetera. How can people, like, get involved in your group, or, you know, tell us what you have to offer, et cetera, and we'll send people your way.
Well, the list goes on, man. There's a lot of different channels. It just depends on what channel you prefer.
Give it all,
right?
give it all, and we'll put it.
I got a Facebook group, 0 to Diamond. All right, 0 to Diamond Real Estate Agents. That's where I network. That's where I go live. I have a Q&A show. I do all my stuff there. I actually wrote 2 books this year.
Wow.
I wrote Zero to Diamond, How to Become a $1 Million Real Estate Agent. It's on Amazon. And the second one is called List to Last, How to Survive Every Real Estate Market Crash.
Love it.
They are both nothing but 5-star, very, very, I mean, I've been told that especially the second one is the best real estate book that veterans have ever read. So also my YouTube channel, YouTube/Ricky Carruth, where I do a reality show myself named The Daily Grind Show. I have a videographer that follows me around every day and videos everything I do in terms of selling real estate and coaching and speeches and everything that I do, and puts it on YouTube. So that's somewhere they could go. Also, 0todiamond.com is where my real estate training programs are. And of course, Instagram @Ricky Carruth, Snapchat @Ricky Carruth. So whatever your mode of.
You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere, Ricky Carruth. Just search me and reach out to me. Ask me questions. I'm an open book. I mean, you can ask people that are not in my coaching program, but that are in the group. They ask me stuff all the time, and I'm more than willing to spend time with them. It's not about the money. It's not a get Ricky rich quick thing. It's helping the industry lower that failure rate. That's what I want my legacy to be, is someone who made their mark on real estate industry as a whole and did everything he could do to try to lower that failure rate and help agents succeed.
Love it. Well, we're going to definitely be sending a lot of people your way. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be blown away by the information we shared today, and they're going to want to know more about you. And obviously, if I didn't like you and think you were good for the people, I wouldn't have you on the show. So before we part, for today, any final thoughts, any favorite quote and final thought, anything you want to share with people?
There's a lot of them really, but I would say,
let's do one quote or one thought.
Well, my favorite one, and the one my first broker really, it really hung with me is that when a prospect tells you no, it doesn't mean no. It just means not right now. But thanks for asking. Please stay in touch.
Yeah.
So I think people are scared of that no, and they don't realize that it's not no to you personally. It's no, I'm not ready right now. Let's stay in touch and do a deal later.
That's a good quote. We're actually going to make a nice image of it. We're going to write your name on it, and then we're going to put that out there on social media. I like that.
Great.
And obviously you got 2 books. So obviously, let, people go read your books, etc. But besides your book, like if you had to recommend, obviously, yes, read Ricky's books. Besides your books, like what is one book that you've read? Because you said you've read a lot during, the time that you got out of real estate. Like what is the one book, like it had such an impact on you and you're like, I want to make sure that, anybody ever asks, what is the one book that can like help me? What is that one book that you would recommend?
There's actually 2 books. I can't really cut them in half, right? There's 2 books that really, really changed me, that influenced me a whole lot. One was The Slight Edge, Jeff Olson. Have you read that?
I did not read that one.
You need to read that.
It's on my list right now. Just wrote it down.
It's very similar to Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect.
Okay.
The little things you do over time build up to be huge. But it takes it to a whole nother level that you really need to experience. I read that book twice. And the second one was The 10X Rule, Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read
that one? I've read. I've read it and I've listened to the audio. Yes.
Yeah. And he, I have mixed feelings about how high pressure he is. And so, but that book really, I read that book. I believe I was still, let's see, where was I? No, I just got off the oil rig and I was back in real estate when I read that. And that was really big for me too.
Yeah, very good book. Okay, so I am going to commit to read The Slight Edge. So I'm going to go ahead and place an order for it today. And I'm going to read it and everyone else should get a copy of it. So Ricky, thank you very much for taking the time out to, be with us today and, share, your journey of how you got involved in real estate. In 3 years, you made, became a millionaire. 2 years later, you lose it all. Then you go and, to the School of Hard Knocks, whatever, you get a job and then you finally come back into real estate. And this time you win big time and you win in a big way to where it's no longer just about you, but it's about making a difference for, leaving your mark, legacy, reducing the failure rate in our industry. And, we thank you for not letting it be about you and letting it be about the people. And at the end of the day, that's how we all win. So thank you very much for a winning Top Listing Agent show today. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you very much for watching and or listening to this episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. This episode has been sponsored and brought to you by listingsondemand.com. I'll see you in the next episode next week. Thank you.